So, it would appear that everyone everywhere is very happy with pirate software. That's right. Thanks for tuning into the video. That's all we oh wait, never mind. Here it is. I made a meme here to kind of encapsulate what's going on. I said this on Facebook when I posted this. It's kind of like the Anakin Obi-Wan betrayal meme, and here it is. You were supposed to destroy the corporate gods. And of course, you know, you got Thorikin here replying with, by my view, the gamers are wrong. And then, of course, then you are truly lost. And this is the case. A lot of people are feeling that right now and deciding to take that out on Pirate Software's early access Steam game, Heartbound. And as you can see, the recent reviews are overwhelmingly negative, as Pirate Software /Thor/ Jason Hall, former employee of Blizzard, super duper hacker, game dev guru, and formerly regarded as all-around good guy. I mean, I was one of those people. I was down for what he was up to. I mean, who wouldn't want a guy from the industry putting on a live stream saying, hey, you, the guy that didn't even go to college for this, you want to try it? Go ahead. What could go wrong? The worst that happens is that you never try. I mean, that's a really good message, right? That's a really good message. In fact, that's what he said when he won the Streamer Awards over here. Forgive my selection of videos. Ooh, my. Anyway, as you can see right up here, I think this is Amaranth. I don't recognize her face. Didn't see much of her face, so I think this is Amaranth. I recognize some Amaranth there. But let's see what's going on with Thor and his reaction to winning the last year's Streamer Awards. So this is for 2023, not 2024. So there it is.
And for those of you out there that want to make games, you have a home for that now on Twitch.
Right, so because he won this, there's a new category for game dev streamers, so check it out. You can go out there and do that yourself. Now, you might not see the success that Jason/Thor did, but here's what he has to say about that.
Have this category for you to do that. And it doesn't mean you have to make an amazing game. You just have to make your game.
And that is a great message to impart as a winner of this streaming award. Like, I'm not really sure that these IRL streamers who run around in bikinis, hanging around by pools all the time, or put green screens on their butts in order to play Sonic games for maybe not people who are over 18 anyway. So let's put it that way. I'm not sure that they would have as uplifting of a message.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you realize this reality is not shaped by justice nor truth, but by indifference and the refusal to press one simple button. They don't forget to subscribe. No, they see it. They know what it means, and yet they scroll by. Smug, detached, as if their click would cost them something. They take and consume, binge, and vanish, leaving behind nothing but watch history. Meanwhile, creators, honest, passionate, pour their souls into pixels and frames and are met with silence. This world, this system, it's broken. But what if it could be changed? What if we could build a new world? One where every viewer who finds value, who laughs, who learns, or escapes for a moment, subscribes without hesitation. A world where the algorithm no longer decides fate, but fairness does. That is my dream. That is the future I will forge. Even if I must overwrite reality itself to do it.
Now, what I have to make clear is that over on Steam, things are not looking great for Pirate Software. Now, you might remember his game over here. This came out back in 2018, okay? Now, Thor has come out and made sure that he has updated this pretty regularly. Now, updates and patches, it's kind of a balancing game semantics. An update is a formal, like, write-up of what's going on. A patch contains information about what the patch is, which kind of qualifies as an update, in my opinion, because it is updating the game, and that patch update write-up is an update on the status of the game. So I understand where people want to have a formal write-up about the updates more frequently, but I also understand how the patch notes kind of qualify for that anyway. Now, Pirate Software's game has been widely regarded as a sort of like a how-to manual, because he has streamed so much of its development, or was streaming so much of its development and gameplay when he is streaming over on his Twitch account, which I think he multi-streams to other platforms as well. So when we're looking at this, when we're examining what's going on here with Thor, we have to remember that people are reacting genuinely to a guy they thought of as a folk hero, okay? This was not some fella that just dropped out of the sky one day. Yes, he did abruptly arrive on the scene, but he had a mission. He wasn't a fella that kind of felt around in the dark to try and find where he belonged in all of this. When he arrived, as far as I understood it, Thor had a very important message to impart on people. That no matter where you find yourself in your game development prowess, talent, skill, whatever you're trying to do, whatever level you're at, if you will, it's perfectly fine to just go and do, to create, to push yourself beyond the limitations of yesterday and as far as you can go today. That's a great message to have out in the world, and it's not any surprise that he ended up growing so fast when he turned those messages into, shorts. So that way, rather than having to go through so many hours of a stream to get those little nuggets of encouragement, your gaming guru buddy Pirate Software showed up in your shorts very frequently to let you. That sounds weird. Showed up in your shorts. Showed up in the YouTube shorts. There we go. That's what we're aiming for. He showed up in the YouTube shorts to let you know that, hey, today's the day that you do hit save and give that a playtest. Maybe you stream it. It's a great idea, and I encourage you to go out and do that. There will be pushback. There's trolls in every corner of the internet. But please remember, it's all worthwhile when you do finally get that working level that does exactly what you wanted it to do. However, I must bring your attention to how the user base is reacting to Thor now. As you can see right here, okay? It's not going very well. We're just gonna take a quick scroll down here, and you can see this is just in the past 48 hours, if not even sooner. I haven't hit the refresh page. I tell you what, while we're recording this, I'll hit refresh when we hit the bottom of this fiasco that's going on. And as you can see, there are people who are responding positively to the game, sort of finding it after Thor's, dust up. And as I've said in the previous video, it seems to be that every 3 to 6 months, this dust up happens again. And here we are in yet another cycle of it that appears to have taken its toll, however, on Thor and his enterprises. As you can see, we are not even back to June 20th yet. We're still at June 24th, and the negative commentary on this is still flooding through. Okay? You even got product refunds, all this sort of thing. Now, there was a lot of goodwill for Thor out there. There's a lot of goodwill for Heartbound because, again, this was that folk hero story. This was this guy that was just trying to show off the development, and along the way became a celebrity for doing so. Yes, he has a history of fantastic game development, where having worked for Blizzard, having war stories from working at Blizzard and other institutions like it, as well as his war stories from being a hacker and, being hired to do crazy things by governments and corporations to test their security measures. These all contributed to his celebrity, but as you can see, those things don't really pale in compare. Those things really seem to pale in comparison, rather, to his idea about game preservation. And once again, this is what it all comes back to. As you can see, people are responding to him being against the preservation of games through the Stop Destroying Games initiative. There was a commenter here that made that the center of their argument, but appears that one's kind of drifted away. So I just wanted to highlight that guy because, again, there it is. Stop Killing Games, LMAO. Now, as we revealed in the previous video, I'll link that one at the end of this one, that Thor does have a competing interest. He works for a company called Off-Brand Games that does have live service games within its library. And so it is probably a breach of contract to go poo-pooing the process of deactivating these games to save money and control intellectual property. A lot of corporations do not want you to have access to this stuff. A lot of corporations don't want initiatives like this. Now, you see Ravioli Queen here has a perfect meme for this. It says, sign the damn petition. Once again, the link will be below. This is for European citizens to vote on, and to apply their signature to. So please, if you are not a European citizen, please try to circulate this as far and wide as you can in the hopes that we do find one of those European folks that does want to make sure that these corporations have to own up at least to the process of delisting these games. That would mean like telling us, this has an end date. Our contracts, like the Crew 2, our licensing contracts with all these fancy car companies expire on this date, so we're going to end online services on this date for this game. Is that going to be hard to get people to pay $50 for? You bet your sweet bippy it's going to be hard to get people to pay $50 for a license to access that when it's going to end. But you might get some people through the door that want to play so many months of high-octane, real-deal, licensed car mayhem. Maybe. But this initiative steps through and says, rather than surrendering your intellectual property, please allow it to be serviced by servers outside of the corporation. So if Ubisoft had gone out and found a third party to license the server operations of the Crew 2, if you will, the number 2 and then the as well 2. Had they done this and found a middle person between the gamers, the people who had purchased the game, and the corporation who no longer wants to financially put forth the needs, put forward the process of keeping that game alive, had they found a third party that was willing to step in and accept a $5, $10 payment a month to keep servers running on that, well, that probably is what would have worked out pretty well and would have avoided the lawsuit that currently Ubisoft is battling with the consumers of the Crew 2, okay? That's what this petition is supposed to petition. I'll say it right eventually. English is my first language, by the way, believe it or not. But the point of this is to make sure that we start a conversation around getting these corporations to acknowledge this. We need Congress, we need the EU, and again, I like Grums, like most of the other people in America, I don't trust the EU to come down with this on any type of fairness to the consumer or the corporations, okay? These guys do have a right to their intellectual property. They do not have to surrender that to the consumers. Copies are an entirely different legal basis. And again, like I said, a third-party server provider would solve this. And again, if you're out there and you have knowledge of how to do this, and you got some buddies that want to take over a warehouse and become a server basis for these corporations and advertise yourself as that middleman, now's the time to do that. That conversation is happening right now. Get your friends together and have a conversation about this. There are plenty of ones that host Gmod servers, that host all sorts of other ones. You've got your content awareness servers, you've got your repo servers, all sorts of them out there, okay? Now, what if you started pitching that to the corporations, that when they wanted to retire a game like the Crew 2, you and your friends had established this massive server farm to be able to handle the load of a corporate level game, okay? That's being delisted from corporate, maintenance, all right? So again, you have to ask yourself, where is the opposition to this? If the corporation doesn't have to be responsible for this anymore, they're not surrendering any of their intellectual property, and the only thing they're providing is the server access keys. Now, I don't know if that's the proper terminology for that, but I'm going to assume it is. You can let me know down in the comments below if it is or not. And along with your other thoughts, you can leave those down in the comments below. And also, again, please check for the link to get to that petition. Make sure you circulate it around because we have to get this conversation started, especially as these corporations push to more digital stuff, all right? But as always, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And good luck out there.